assertion that he employed the
Yes, we
account
did.
primarily as a...
Oh, Mage
Oh,
got us
really?
working.
Nice. Cool.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There may be strong language and adult themes.
Sorry we're late. We didn't finish our circle jerk on Zoom.
Yeah, well, the strong language may be directed at StreamYard if it starts acting up again.
Yes,
Well,
maybe an unstable connection. So,
well, and
apparently-
speaking of unstable connections, my computer has been freezing up on the internet a lot since last night, so it's also possible, Mage, that I may freeze up and you may need to take over.
okay.
We'll try to keep you toasty warm, Purple.
There we go. Captive Death put out a prayer to Bigfoot. That's why we managed to get through.
There you go. Yeah.
There we go.
Everybody knows that Sasquatch are famous for their IT work.
So, does the chat want to know what we were talking about just before we came live? It kind of surprises when we had to stop.
Yeah, well,
it does relate to the safety pin thing. So, Jenny,
Yes,
why don't you explain it?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Or actually, I guess it was Stephanie who first brought it up.
Yeah, we were discussing a particular use of safety pins, and then in the kink universe, wherein particularly adult males will have a little bit of a diaper fetish, which reminded me of the story that broke yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before, about Elon Musk having a fake Twitter account where he pretended to be his 3-year-old kid, and he was posting some pretty creepy shit on there. One such interaction, it says here, occurred on November 13th, 2022, when Musk, assuming the persona of the Ermn Musk, ERMN Musk account, queried Sailor, "Do you like Japanese girls?" I mean, Elon, really?
No kidding. What a fucking racist.
Well, yeah, what a creep. What else did he post on that account? This all came out in a lawsuit, which is really weird.
Oh, that makes it even better. Permanent court records. Yes, sir.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It's like, it's so weird. It's so very, very, very weird. I don't know.
Yeah, Angie, yep. Of course, now I go to Michael's and I buy my own little hooks and little intermediaries, and I make the earrings out of other stuff. Yeah, let's just say that.
Okay.
I got a pair I have a pair of earrings I made out of the what do you call it? Oh, the nitroglycerin bottles that I get every 6 months. And then I made another pair out of 2 empty estrogen vials.
Really?
Yeah, which are funny for people in the community.
The estrogen vials I could see you selling on Etsy. I can see there'd be a number of trans women who would buy those.
Yeah, they're kind of heavy, so it's not something you want to wear like to work all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not kind of heavy; they're very heavy. And you're gonna have a banana shape if you wear them too much.
Yeah, I didn't think of safety pins as earrings, but that would be kind of a cool thing these days because it would be a conversation starter. I expect that there are some younger people who really barely know what they are.
Oh yeah, people using tabs on paper diapers to pollute the earth with.
Yeah, Yeah, it's ever since we don't have to pin the diapers on the babies, and even the cloth diapers now use Velcro.
See, that's the real um, indicator of when our society absolutely went to hell and was promised to end itself. Was when we decided that the rule of you don't eat where you shit was meaningless, and that we should just all send our crap to be buried and saved.
Yeah, well, at the time they had people believing that in a landfill stuff would actually decompose.
Well, they do, bodies, you know.
No, not even bodies, because the landfills actually, work to prevent things from going into the groundwater. So it doesn't even really recycle. And when they bury it, they usually put a big tarp over it so that water doesn't get into it.
Well, I would direct you to all those methane furnaces at the or burn off flames at landfills.
Yeah, well, that's landfills have kind of become a couple of decades past, and now most of the stuff goes into incinerators. So instead of just polluting the ground, we're just going to, pump it out into the atmosphere and then deny global warming.
It's more like we're doing both.
Yeah.
Those mountains
It depends where you live.
If they're doing it properly, they're collecting that methane to use for power.
Yeah. Well, that would be if they were doing it properly. It depends if it is economically feasible to collect the methane for power, or if they don't get paid enough for it to pay off the equipment.
Is the Fresh Kills landfill still in operation in New York? I mean, that used to be quite something. Like the biggest landfill in the world, I think it was.
Oh yeah, when they're using the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, it's right by the Atlantic Ocean. It's not too far from the Atlantic Ocean, but it's there was just this gigantic mound of garbage with heavy equipment running over it the entire time. It's really quite something. You could see it from the highway.
I thought New York just dumped everything into the Hudson River.
No.
Well, then again, they had that barge making a world tour because nobody would let it dock.
I heard they're going to rename that river after Goldie Hawn's kid, Kate Hudson.
Maybe.
Thank you, Steph.
No problem.
In Milwaukee County, they have this huge dump. The thing's got to be 200 feet tall now by now, and it has been an attractor to help the return of a certain species here. Well, there in the lower southeast Wisconsin, Milwaukee County was the last county to experience the return of eagles. And it's because they focus on this dump.
Really?
And just eat the rodents like crazy out of it. And there's eagles that hang around the dump in Milwaukee County.
Yeah, well, that makes sense, that the trash attacks rodents and the eagles feed on the rodents. The way we deal with our trash is also why we now have seagulls being so far inland. Well, that, McDonald's.
Yeah, you could go to the dump and throw rocks at seagulls and leave no turn unstoned. Sorry.
Well, if you want to get rid of the seagulls, you throw Alka-Seltzer tablets at them.
Well,
Jason, I think of seagulls more as winged goats because they eat anything, And the wingrets are the starlings.
Don't throw Alka-Seltzer tablets at seagulls.
Yeah, well, there's also plenty of videos online of seagulls just swooping in and stealing people's lunch. They don't care. They don't have any real fear of humans.
And then, of course, there's the pelicans that eat the seagulls.
Well, it's I've had my theory that McDonald's is putting growth hormones, in the fryer oil. So then
Really?
that's why the seagulls that hang out in the parking lots are getting so big. And then at night after the restaurant's closed, they go out in the parking lot and they harvest all the seagulls, and that's all the things that they sell as chicken at McDonald's are actually the seagulls that they've been farming in their own parking lots.
Nah, that stuff's not that fresh.
The seagulls have genetically started to get so big that they can carry very large chunks of trash and stuff. In fact, that Waste Management has developed a training and genetic breeding program to get seagulls trained well enough so that they can replace all the truck drivers for the waste management routes and just have seagulls doing it.
Well, you'd have to cross the seagull with the homing pigeon then, so it just keeps bringing everything back to the same location.
No, they're going to be using Elon Musk chips to install in their brains.
Yeah.
I think
Remote
Angie's
control.
got it right. Seagulls are flying hyenas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems about right.
And also, Jason Jacoby, that explains the shoelaces in my chicken nuggets. Oh yeah. Wait a minute. Wait, this is a whole.
That's too much.
I'm glad that Jason has found our chats. He's a great addition to the group here.
Oh God,
that's very good. What about the safety pins? It's like, are there safety pins in the shoelaces?
Well, as was briefly mentioned, back when I was growing up, they were often called diaper pins because that's what they were cheaply used for.
Purple, none of us have grown up real.
I said I grew up. I didn't say I've matured.
Oh.
Growing up is just the physical aspect that I've gotten much taller.
I almost choked on what I was eating. I had to spit it out. Jason, that was one of the best yucks I've had in years. Thank you.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
I've got the windows open today, so Ethan is marveling at the smells of outside.
Well, as you can see, it's a foggy day here in.
Yeah, like I say, it is
Casco Bay.
painfully bright here, so I'm kind of glad that I'm not going out today because I would get headaches before I even reached my car.
Who's giving away pens? Now, hold on a second. I gotta do some research.
Well, to anyone who wants to leave me their mailing address and pay the postage, I will send you a safety pin. I do have a bag of them here somewhere.
Oh
yeah, Jason. Those were the more modern ones that had plastic heads and funny things on them. The original ones just had the plain metal clip.
Well, I'm seeing some people using safety pins as earrings.
I always like those little brass colored ones that were about 3/4 of an inch tall. Little bitty ones. You'd collect them. You'd collect them from your little talk a minute doll. I forget the name of that damn thing, because they were real small, and so you'd use them to let Ken have his diaper fetish, because you got now pins for. You can make your Ken doll little diapers.
Okay.
Oh, now wait a minute. There's people that make ball gags and stuff for Barbies. There's nothing weird about that.
Well, safety pins were invented by Walter Hunt, and he was awarded the patent in 1826. And he came up with the safety pin because he was fidgeting and twisting around a piece of wire while worrying about a $15 debt he had. He sold the patent for the safety pins to repay the debt he owed.
What? Stephanie? Is there an explanation?
The elephant in the room has a safety pin.
Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Steph, you're muted.
Yeah, the elephant in the room has a safety pin.
Does he have a pierced trunk now?
Well, I guess. Not really. It's sort of
Okay.
around the trunk.
Well, I was wondering if elephants were now into nose piercings.
This one is.
Okay, now I'm seeing an elephant that has, like a row of like 100 safety pins down his trunk.
I know somebody who. Yeah, I knew somebody who was able to take a safety pin and put it just underneath the skin, not to where it bled, but where like we'd get it under where it would hold though.
Oh yeah, I used to do that as a party trick in high school. That I could stick several pins through my fingers without them bleeding.
Yeah.
Just getting it between the layers of skin so you don't go deep enough to get blood.
Did you charge extra for that?
No, it was just kind of mostly to gross people out.
Yeah, that's basically what they did it too as well.
Well, if you can do that with on one, couldn't you like take the sewing needle and do it and like put it through each one of your fingers, and with a thread on the needle you could sew your fingers together?
Yeah, you could do that.
Clarice, can you do that, Clarice?
Oh, apparently we should be calling Jason safety pin. Yeah, that's another thing I remember using them for growing up. Yeah, when you lost a button, you just put a safety pin through it.
Or a screw from your eyeglasses hinge.
No, the screw from your eyeglasses wouldn't hold. It's too small to be a button, and then your glasses fall off as well. A punkafant.
So did you hear the latest stunt from the Republicans?
No.
They're so good, and they're so entertaining. They were going to submit the recommendations, or whatever the official word is, I don't know, for this bogus impeachment they're doing on this Mayorkas, I don't know how to pronounce it really. The Secretary of the INS.
Yeah, the Republicans
they want to blame their inaction on him, so they picked him. And and everything trumped up charges. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Everybody knows it, including them. But they were going to send that stuff to the Senate today, and they changed their mind. They're going to wait till Monday. I guess Donald Trump wanted a distraction from him going to prison.
Yep. Yeah, the Republicans, it's just a question of who are they impeaching this week.
I think I might go see the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire or tomorrow. I noticed the theater near me has a 3E15 showing, and it's 25% off.
That'd be cool. Give us a review on it.
Hmm.
It should be a nice movie.
I'm expecting middle of the road. I mean, I've heard some people saying it wasn't all that great. I've heard some people say they loved it. So,
yep.
Well, I think it's good that the old guys who originated get to make some Hollywood movie money.
Yeah, I can't imagine that the guys who starred in the first one, ever made much money, but it's not like any of them went on to do anything else after that, huh?
Well, yeah, exactly. They've run out of money and they've been living on the streets, and well, except for Bill, he's been living on the golf course or the stadium, one of the two. There
we go. Ember's got it. They have to contain the ghost of Elsa.
I heard some bad news about this whole Stormy Daniels trial thing starting Monday. If he's convicted of every one of the charges, the maximum sentence on any one of those is 4 months.
Yeah, but he could actually do jail time.
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah,
I think that's what's 4 months. He's had a flash. No, they said 4 years, and I'm pretty sure it was 4 months because it was just absolutely a joke.
Yeah, but can you imagine, Trump in the county jail even for a month?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, with the pampered lifestyle he's used to.
Well, the county jail for New York County, which is to say Manhattan, is Rikers Island, which is not the nicest facility in the nation. That's where his his bookkeeper guy, what's his name? Bookkeeper guy for the Trump organization that just pled guilty for perjury.
I'm kind of wondering.
He spent time at Rikers.
I'm kind of wondering if since he's a former president, and if they would have to make some kind of special arrangements for him.
Why should they?
Well, unfortunately, yeah, they would still have to give him a security detail even if he's in jail. It's something that's listed as part of the job that all former presidents get a security detail for life.
And he did have access to top secret information, so that's not something you really want getting around the prison.
What, you think he actually remembers anything he read? If he read anything at all in 4 years?
Quite possibly.
No, I don't.
Well, it was my headcanon to survive the Trump presidency that somebody had made an intentional typo in the launch codes so that no matter how deranged he got, they would never work.
They change every day.
Yeah, that would be really awkward for a Secret Service agent to have to be standing outside his jail cell all day.
Yeah.
It'd be safer for the agent that he's in the jail cell too. Boy, would that be hell.
Yeah. Well, you know, and
Trump would treat him as his servant.
yeah, and they couldn't put Trump in with the general population, so would he have to be kept alone in a cell all by himself the whole time?
Oh, you could
He
have
should
a
be in
Secret
the general
Service agent in
population.
there, I suppose, too.
There's no reason he shouldn't be in the general population.
Well, again, what Mage said about them worried about him blurting out, security information or that.
Yeah, that sure kept him from doing it last time. We actually had the stuff that he could just pass on. Why did Trump sell classified documents? Because he couldn't read them and memorize them.
Yeah. Yeah. Another Trump former lawyer got disbarred as well.
Aww.
And
Who
yeah,
was it this time?
basically it sounds like, well, he also threw Trump under the bus for it. So, it sounded like he was going to get disbarred regardless, and making a deal to give them insider information about Trump was the only thing he could do to stay out of jail himself.
And regardless of what you think of how competent or incompetent or idiotic the guy is, they do need to treat it as a serious issue with him.
Yeah, as a
having that
potential security leak.
Yeah.
He's probably got safety pins to, keep his fly up and stuff.
Yeah, just make sure that they only go through the fabric. Otherwise, you got a Prince Albert.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, penile decoration named after Donald Trump would be something too. Maybe that's something coming up.
No, maybe a drug for trans people that makes it shrink up should be named after Trump.
Do you really want that association, though?
No, not really. Not really. No. But on the other hand, a drug known for making it shrink would suit him.
I don't think he can afford to lose much. At least not according to Stan. According to Stormy Daniels.
It's a good one, Angie. MAGA, my attorney got arrested. Yeah, there's been at least a half dozen former Trump attorneys who've gotten disbarred at this point.
Yeah. Well, you got Release the Kraken lady. She got arrested. Yep. Oh, she got disbarred and arrested. You got
hey, Linda.
Mayor Crazy Guy. He's like in big trouble. Jeez, all those people.
I came across apparently they're not. See, Jeffrey Jones will not be appearing in the next Beetlejuice movie titled Beetlejuice. Oh, I just said it 3 times. Though there will be a stop motion sequence explaining how he died and being bitten by a shark in the ocean. I'm guessing they don't want him back because in 2002 he had charges for soliciting a 14-year-old to pose nude and was put on the sex offender list.
Who's this again?
Jeffrey Jones. Are you familiar with Ferris Bueller's Day Out?
No.
No. You're not familiar with Beetlejuice either, are you?
I've never seen the movie. I know Michael. What's his name was Beetlejuice?
Yeah. Well, he was the father of Lydia, the female protagonist that was in the show.
Sorry. I haven't seen many movies. Sorry. Just can't help it.
Okay, well, so far, there have been at least 10 of Trump's former attorneys who wound up themselves facing facing some kind of legal charges because of their associations with Trump. And that's not to mention the people who were involved in the Georgia election scandal.
Yeah.
That guy.
That guy.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't look like the kind of guy I'd be friends with. He's just got that used car salesman look.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's okay.
Emma's asking, didn't he die in the first movie? It's been too long since I've seen the movie. I don't remember.
No, he didn't die in the first movie. Actually, I don't think anyone, other than the ghost characters, I don't think anyone died in the first movie. Except for the two couple, obviously.
Yeah. Why would dying preclude an appearance of in a film about the afterlife? Yeah, you would kind of expect that, if anybody closely associated, with her died, that they would show up as a ghost again.
There was some questioning of whether they're going to do a CGI ortho. Seeing as the actor actually died.
Yeah, much I don't understand about the Trump phenomena. When he said on the campaign trail the first time, asked about getting Dems and GOP to work together, his reply was lock them in a room together. Well, he did succeed in getting them locked in a room together on January 6th.
Yeah, this is true. Hey, I'm all for locking our government up in a room together. We just have to leave them there.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, Trump is very much like a high school bully. That's how he thinks he can get anything, by threatening people. What I don't get at this point is why any attorney would agree to represent Trump anymore, considering, how many of them have, been disbarred or brought up on ethics charges and legal charges, and the fact that how many of them has he just never paid the bill?
Well, Alina Habba seems to have walked away with a couple $1 million out of her involvement with Trump. She may not have a law license, but if you can have that kind of a payday, a couple $1 million, that'll go a long way. If you don't, go down to St. Bart's and blow it all for your 40th
Unless you live in New York.
Yeah, well, and I suppose that after representing Trump, they can always go on the talk show circuit.
That too.
And interestingly enough, Ivan Reitman served as a stand-in for the Egon goes for some of the scenes. It was he was the original director or producer of the first movie. Oh, actually, Iron Redman's died now. He died in 2022.
Peter Higgs kicked the bucket at 98.
Who's that?
Peter Higgs, Higgs boson guy.
Oh, really? Hmm.
Yeah.
I guess his god particle was calling him.
Yeah, something like that. Well, that was some fellow who disparaged the whole idea. It's like the God
Yeah,
particle.
I know.
But
more media bullshit.
yeah.
Well, I'm surprised. How about that? Finally, there's a show on PBS right now. The section that's on right now is about DNA and its discovery and understanding and these kinds of things. And they just told a little story about Watson and Crick and all that kind of stuff. And they actually got around to Rosalind Franklin, who was the person who actually discovered the structure of DNA and explained it to the boys, who then ignored her through history and took credit for her work.
Yeah, well, she should have. By the time they got around to awarding the Nobel Prize, she had died from ovarian cancer.
That's pretty much the story of every female scientist until at least the 1990s, huh?
Not uncommon at all.
Yeah. Although one thing that was never fully explained, so it's partially speculation. But when Albert Einstein got his Nobel Prize, he gave all the money to his wife, and there are strong indications that she helped him develop his theory of relativity. Because she apparently was extremely good with math.
Quite possible.
Amber has it right. Marie Curie has 2 Nobel Prizes. There you go. As I recall, it's 1 in chemistry and 1 in physics. So she got hers anyway.
Well, yes, but did she ever invent a safety pin?
As far as I know, no. No. Oh, goodness.
Hey, Commander. How you doing?
The Deep State Annex. Where's the Deep State main building?
Well, if you knew that, we would have to take you out, so.
That's true. I shouldn't have asked.
Only the cats know.
Even knowing that there's a building might be too much information.
Cue the Madagascar penguins. You didn't see anything. Cherry blossoms. No, we don't have those here.
It'll take a while.
Who's cherry blossoms?
That must be nice, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amber's like in the middle of New York State.
It's coming. It's not here yet, but it's coming.
It's hitting 70 degrees here today in Minnesota.
Yep. Yeah, but the trees have not started growing leaves yet.
Yes, they have. I've driven through a couple different areas with overhanging trees that all the little crusty things around the buds have fallen off.
Okay, well,
That
not around my neighborhood.
They're going to open this weekend.
Yeah, not around my neighborhood. I'm not seeing any evidence of leaves yet.
Well, Minneapolis is kind of behind the rest of the state, you know.
Well,
Well,
here in
I'm up in
Sodom.
St. Cloud, which is even a little further north than Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm. See?
Here in Sodom, it's 43 degrees.
Sodom?
Sodom.
Isn't that a suburb of Gomorrah?
No, it's a subsection of Yarmouth, Maine. So there is, in fact, a Sodom, comma, M-E. It's right by me. Matter of fact.
See, and people, this is why punctuation marks matter.
Yeah, if I pull up my weather forecast, it says, which I just did. That's why I was reminded that I am, in fact, in Sodom, Maine. Extended forecast for Sodom, me.
Hey, commas
driving rain. It's like, it's like, well, okay.
Commas are the difference between I helped my Uncle Jack off a horse and I helped my Uncle Jack off a horse.
Perp, did you see that portrait I found of you on the web?
Yeah, but did you have a safety pin?
Perp, did you see that portrait I found of you and me on
oh,
the
yes.
Web?
Yep.
I put it in the chat.
Yep, I saw that in the group about an hour before we started here.
You should share it with the audience.
Okay.
It's just a picture that when I saw it, it just screamed purple, and so I decided I would pass it on to him. And then I found one that looked just like me, and so we took that one too. And it's amazing how much alike Perp and I looked when we were really young, really young.
Jeez,
it's gonna take me a minute because he sent his two separate images, so I've got to kind of put them together.
Yeah, I wasn't able to.
Did you see the little rundown on the eclipse? I think it was Michael Knowles and some other.
Oh, that asshole! God.
Yeah, some other Delta Bravo were going over that the eclipse was going through a whole bunch of towns called Nineveh, and that was a sign of the end times and all of this other stuff.
Yeah.
It's like.
Okay. Why are they so absolutely psycho about it this time and nothing like that in 2017?
Well, it's been getting, we've got to admit, it's been getting weirder.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Like a lot weird, like exponentially weirder. Well, these people are losing their marbles. It's hyperbolic. Asymptotic, shall we say. It's all approaching, but not entirely at zero at this point.
Well, it's the whole thing that the people who keep posting these conspiracies have no realization about how often eclipses happen. It's just most of the time you can't see them unless you're on a ship out at sea.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Oh, you got it.
There we go. See, purple.
Oh,
and me.
Yeah, I was working on it, but Major's a lot faster than I am.
We were really young. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I always wondered why you got your name, so now I know.
I did briefly consider having my name legally changed to Purple.
You still can.
Well, just because it's been a long time since anybody has actually called me by my name, except for when I'm, at the doctor's office for an appointment.
Burp the derp.
I'm not a derp. Okay, sometimes I blep, but I'm not a derp.
Yeah. Yes, Jet, that Angie. There is an amazing amount of ignorance, scientific ignorance out there, isn't there? It's shocking.
Yeah. Well, like I said, what gets me is that they're talking about what happened during the last eclipse and what happened during the next eclipse, and it's like they're not realizing how often these happen. They're not always over North America. That's the only thing that was special about this one.
And they're going on about, and there are going to be rumors of wars, and this is clear signs of the end times, and it's like, but it's like, it's a day that ends in Y. What?
Well, yeah,
Sunday.
they're trying to link the eclipse to the fighting in Gaza, that there's a war in the Holy Land.
Sure. Yeah, that's definitely it.
Because that's been such a stable area for such a long time.
Well, it's the day of the rapture, and then there's going to be a plague of locusts.
Yeah, and frogs. By the way, gay frogs as well. Gay. They're all gay.
Well, that was a sperm from a gay frog. Just in case you didn't know. Yes, it was.
No, I didn't. Okay.
Well,
it was a
turned,
polywog then, really.
When we were able to turn them purple, that's when they started to turn gay.
Yeah, I don't know about gay frogs, but there was a stream in Minneapolis where they were finding frogs with extra limbs.
I wonder if there'll be a movement to rename the polywog because of its implications and how it will affect the children. We do have to save the children.
We can call it the asexual wog.
Yeah. We've been saving our children for so long now. Anita Bryant started with all that stuff. Saving our
Jason,
children.
I think the cicadas wait for the really hot weather. I don't think they usually come out until at least June.
See what the ignorance, Deep, you probably know this, but the ignorance of the population about the moon and its movements is that it does not revolve around us on the ecliptic. Okay, it is on a 5 or 7 or 11, 15, I forget, but it's a small amount, 10, 15 degree pitch from the ecliptic, and that's why the eclipse happens on an irregular basis and an irregular position, is because it all depends on where the rotation of the Earth, the point around the sun, and the moon's odd orbit all happen at the same time.
Yeah.
So it is a rare event, technically, but yeah, they just don't understand any of that.
Yeah, because most of the time the moon is like a little above or a little below the sun, so you don't get a total eclipse.
But God made it. But it's from God. But
yeah. The universe is fine-tuned for us.
As long as you stay within the Goldilocks zone.
So Nineveh, New York is a lot like Sodom, Me, which is like part of another town. So it's like, what do you think? So that leads me back to wondering how many Sodoms there are in the United States.
Well, how many gay bars are there?
Well, fair point.
Yeah, well, I had a lot of problems with states reusing town names when I lived in New York. Because so many of the places in New York were the same name as towns in Minnesota. So I had friends in Minnesota and friends in New York, and I constantly had to get people to specify which state they were talking about.
Well, let's face it, New York is reusing a name too. I mean, there's Old York too.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Well,
So-
it originally
does
was
that mean
New Amsterdam.
we could start another one and say in Montana and call it New York, New York, New York.
And then there's Nyack, New York, which is. Wait a minute.
Well,
Did somebody-
in Futurama, it is New York.
Yeah.
Okay, Commander said that, that the moon shifts from being 5 degrees above to 5 degrees below.
That sounds correct.
There's all
Yep.
sorts of Rochesters too. This is true.
Yeah, well, that's one of my favorite quirks of geography. Is that
Why is
if you
I'm
get on
sorry.
I-90 in Rochester, Minnesota, and follow it exactly 1,000 miles, you will be in Rochester, New York.
That's true? But here's a question for you: why is it Rochester, not Rochester? Like Worcester, Massachusetts is
Because we have
Worcester,
because we have not mangled the
And it's
language
pronounced-
of the English half.
and it's pronounced Worcester.
Wait,
Yeah, except it's Syracuse. Definitely.
yeah, well, Syracuse was the one that was unique to New York. There is not a Syracuse, Minnesota, as far as I know.
Okay, now try to say unique New York 3 times real fast. Come on, somebody try it. Unique New York.
Unique New York, unique New York, unique New. God damn it! Didn't
Unique
make it.
New York 5 times fast. See, I did it.
Yeah. Take care, Angie.
The sounds you're about to hear is me transferring water from one bottle to another.
Excellent.
Well, this is interesting. This is global timekeeping problem postponed by global warming.
Huh?
What?
The historical association of time with the rotation of Earth has meant to a coordinated universal time closely follows the rotation. Because the rotation rate is not constant, and UTC contains discontinuities, leap seconds, which complicates its use in computer networks. Since 1972, all UTC discontinuities have required that a leap second be added. And here we show the increased melting of ice in Greenland and Antarctica measured by satellite gravity has decreased the angular velocity of Earth more rapidly than before. Removing this effect from the observed angular velocity shows that since 1972, the angular velocity of the liquid core of Earth has been decreasing at a constant rate that has steadily increased the angular velocity of the rest of the Earth. Extrapolating the trend for the core and other relevant phenomena predict future Earth orientation and shows that UTC is now defined and will require a negative discontinuity by 2029. This will pose an unprecedented problem for computer network timing and may require changes to UTC to be made earlier than is planned. If polarized if polarized melting had not recently accelerated, the problem would occur 3 years earlier. Global warming is already affecting global timekeeping. So we're basically so days are getting longer because of climate change.
Yeah, well, I was aware of the leap seconds that, a couple of times when they did the famous ball drop in New York, that they had to, delay the ball 1 second to adjust for that.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that Donald Trump's balls drop in New York on Monday. That's all.
Yeah, well, where I am, we were completely out of the path.
Yeah, I didn't see a thing here either.
Yeah, I would have had to drive through 3 states to get to some place that had the total eclipse, so it really wasn't noticeable at all here.
Well, what was cool here is we got to 96% totality. So it was kind of like at its maximum, it was very much like dusk. And I was taking pictures of it with my phone, or taking a film of it with my phone. What you could see is you went from a circular shape down to a something that looked like the Eye of Sauron, a vertical
crescent.
It's kind of a crescent, a double-sided crescent, looked like a cat's eye. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Of course, Ember went to what was it, Rouse, New York, I think it was, which.
Oh, Ember actually saw it. Good for you,
Yeah.
Ember.
Yeah.
Yeah, Linda, what Mage was reading is basically saying that the global warming is changing the speed of the Earth's rotation, so it's making the days slightly longer.
Well, for anybody who missed the eclipse, here's a little something for you.
Oh yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah. I saw it. That's hilarious.
That's good. That's very good. It looks like the tide is going out. Can't explain it. Tide comes in, tide goes out. Can't explain that.
Yeah, you also can't explain, that if water seeks its own level, how can the tide be higher in one part of the ocean than in another?
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't understand how the tide can have a bigger range in various places on the Earth than it does. It's like the tides here are range from like 9 to 12 feet of difference at high tide and low tide. Tides in the Chesapeake is maybe a foot, and in Florida it's negligible. It's hardly anything. Hardly any tide at all.
I've never lived by the ocean, so never experienced that. I mean, you don't really get tides in the Great Lakes.
Yes, you do.
Well, to some degree, but
they're measured in parts of an inch, but they're there.
Yeah.
Which is those are really big bodies of water. They should have tides. It's just not
Lake Champlain.
God fucked up his designing again.
Lake Champlain has differences in lake level, but it's seasonal. It's because in the springtime the water level's high, and by the end of the summer it's lower.
Yeah, that's because that serpent Champy or something like that. Champy?
Yeah, that's right, Champy.
It's because one time of the year they shit a lot more than the rest of the times of the year, and it affects the level of the lake.
The Gulf of Maine has the highest tides in the world because the Bay of Fundy is part of the Gulf of Maine. And the Bay of Fundy has the highest tides in the world.
Oh.
And it's pretty goddamn dramatic.
Okay. I have to step away for a minute. Mage is in charge. You ladies behave.
Okay.
You
The
know,
moon is made of sapphire? What do you
Yeah.
mean, Ember? The
I
moon
mean,
is
I,
made of
I, I
sapphire.
know that the only way this is safe is if I leave a man in charge.
Yeah, well, it figures. Jeez.
I'm going to have to come up to St. Cloud and beat you to a pulp. See what you've done?
Say it's only a paper moon floating over some cardboard trees, but it wouldn't be make-believe if you believed in me. Oh, okay. Fair enough. What would we need for a ruby moon? I want a ruby moon. I like rubies.
Here I thought I was just talking about the Pokemon games. There's the Pokemon Sapphire.
I'm not into rubies. I prefer boobies.
Okay. Well, so does Nitty, but he prefers titties.
He's a good one. Engine and its own thing, huh?
So you're saying ruby's kind of corrosive, or just scratchy in bed?
Okay, not sure I heard that right, but did Steph say that Nitty has itty bitty titties?
No, Nitty loves titties is the thing. That's what I'm saying.
What's a nitty?
Well, I
It's a
mean,
nitty.
doesn't most everybody?
Yeah.
Some of us are not obsessed by them, no.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody, male or female, say that they didn't like titties.
Hmm. What's his name? Frank Turk doesn't like titties on himself. He had them kind of lopped off, which is interesting.
Yes, he had gender affirming surgery, even though he wanted
did.
to make it illegal for anyone else to have it.
Oh, the wonderful thing about boobies, the boobies are wonderful things. The tops are made of rubber, the bottoms are made of strings. They're bouncy, fancy, fancy, full of fun. But the wonderful thing about boobies is there's always more than one. There's always more than one. Woo-hoo!
Well, unless a woman had a mastectomy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mage. That was spectacular.
That was something, huh?
Truly symphonic.
Yeah. So it's only a canvas sky.
I like my boobies.
I like mine. I'm still hoping mine would get bigger, but I guess that I'm just not going to have more than an A cup. Maybe like an A and just a fraction more.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. On the other hand, I still have my nipples sticking out of most stuff, so that's the one advantage that, they're not big enough for me to have to wear a bra. So I get that pointies on most of my tops.
Yeah, well, I wear this bra that's about an inch thick, and so mine just don't show through that.
On the other hand, it gives you an extra cup size. Ethan is asleep here, laying in a pose that makes it look like he's been hit by a car.
You have to change that cat's name. Whenever you say Ethan, I think you have a roommate. It doesn't. It's not a cat name. I object.
As opposed to Sammy, that's never used as a human name.
No, but it is a cat name too.
Well, he responded to Ethan and it's better than Ethel. I could not continue to call him male Ethel. Who did that? Although the other day I learned something else about him. Apparently, whoever had him before tried to train him with a spray bottle.
Oh.
Well, I just had the little tiny spray bottle, with the glass cleaner that I tried to put a spritz on my glasses, and he immediately panicked and bolted from the room.
Hmm.
Geez, his blood pressure of 92 over 40 dead.
It isn't the bottom number supposed to be bigger than the top number?
No, but I heard that if it's below 50, they start wondering whether or not you're gonna be alive tomorrow.
Yeah, that. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody going that low before.
Well, here I am, and I'm not even dizzy.
We've performed a public service. We have made Dave aware of Frank Turek's gender affirming surgery, which is good.
Yeah, Amber had posted the clip for it.
That's excellent.
I had a cat named Josh once.
Well, see, now that's a good cat name, sure.
Well, when I was growing up, we had a big orange cat, that we named Butterscotch for his color. So then everybody just called him Scotch. And then we got another cat that was named Whiskers, so everybody called him Whiskey.
Perfect.
So at that point, we just fucking gave up and named my next cat Brandy.
Scotch and Whiskers, those are both gay cat names.
Oh, Scotch would take exemption to that and tear your face off. He was the neighborhood bully. He went around beating up on the dogs.
Hey, you folks that have dogs out there and who take their dogs to the dog park, sometimes take your dog to the dog park, and watch the dogs. And if a dog starts getting humped, and the owner of the dog, calls him back and is all worried about it and stuff like that, tell them that, how long has your dog been gay? Watch them explode.
Why would I want to do that?
I've done it a few times. It's really funny.
Really? Yeah.
Relax, man. I said the dog, not you.
Yeah, but
My cat's
they believe it's contagious.
my cat's name was Morph.
Well, maybe it isn't. They got it from him.
Morph the cat.
Morph?
Morph.
Why did he change shapes?
Now it just was sleepy. Morpheus,
Ah,
a lot of the time. He was a she, but it's okay. I mean, I'm not of the opinion that gods are necessarily gendered. So that's just me. It's like,
well, I guess if the cat has been neutered, they're at that point more androgynous than male.
it's also a Donald Fagen. It's the name of a Donald Fagen song, "Morph the Cat."
I don't know. One of our cats pretty much came with a name that we had one cat that was just called Big Al. And
Big L.
well, yeah, and he had an accident. So a week after Big Al had an accident, the cat across the alley had one single kitten, and there was no denying who the father was. So that just had to be little L. It's like he got killed and he reincarnated a week later. He just respawned across the alley.
Well, you could have always gone with the name Pasithia for the cat, which was the wife of Hypnos, the god of sleep, and she was probably the goddess of rest and relaxation.
Okay. I need to make a note of this. This is the one I need to worship, and maybe she will bless me with sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, Sanskrit for naming pets. That's cool. Okay, Gender said eunuch is a gender, or Ember said eunuch is a gender in the Bible. I'll believe that because Ember did that thing of the explaining the 8 genders in the Torah.
Matthew
I
19:12.
thought a eunuch was when someone was rendered incapable of fathering or
Snip, snip.
Yep. Well,
Yes,
that's
and the Bible explains that there's at least 3 different ways to achieve that.
Really?
Matthew 19:12. Yes.
Mhm.
And the Talmud of the Jewish faith lists 8 different genders and describes them all.
Huh, interesting.
yeah. Well, that's Ember had done a video on that of explaining the 8 different genders in the Talmud.
But it's a binary, right?
I would have to go and see that video.
Oh yeah, if you haven't seen it, definitely go
No, I have
look it
not
up.
seen it.
in Hebrew, you say the word he and you're actually saying she. That's what he means in Hebrew, she. A time she is a tree of life.
So what are your pronouns? He, him? Well, Jewish or non-Jewish? Hebrew or not?
You always have to make everything so complicated, don't you?
Well, as Majestic just said that they were good singers, so it's he and then it's him with a Y.
Oh, and his middle name's Al? Go ahead, say it.
I once had a classmate in the machining school named Al. The professor said, Al, you were here simply to fill a spot because I need a warm body to keep the program open. And Al would constantly come in and pray at the porcelain altar and be told that he was not to operate any machinery because he was incapacitated. And then one morning, Al paid us all $20 to watch a video of his friends wrestling White Lightning from his hand, and then the next day he wanted his money back, and everyone just laughed.
Okay, yeah. Okay, there you go, Mage. Ember posted a link
Oh, thank
for
you.
the Jewish gender video he did. She did. I'm sorry, Ember. Anyway. Hey, we got Doorknob Head.
DK.
Yeah, I agree.
planning a point and laugh at Roger at 8 p.m. Saturday.
Mud fossil you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see how anybody can believe that, but on the other hand, if it was strictly a grift, he's been amazing to stay in character for so many years.
I have met people that dense in real life.
Yeah, well, like I say, it's like neither explanation seems to work, so I don't know what to believe about him.
Whatever it is funny. He can find the naughty parts in rocks anywhere. That's what makes me think it's a grift, but then he just like continues, so maybe it's real.
Yeah, well, then he also did the thing and all of the elephants that were supposedly fossilized standing in place, and that whole mountain range as being a single dragon.
But it is.
Just if you had one animal that size, how would there possibly be enough food for it?
Well, there wouldn't. That's why it's extinct. Gah.
It's a breatharian.
No, watching some of those videos that were broken down on Bad Sunday or Bad Science Sun, and I have to say, I think he's for real. Is the way actually believing that.
Majestic say brainwashed himself, which I know is possible. That some people may start out doing it as a joke or a grift, and they somehow talk themselves into believing it gradually.
I think that's what happened to Joseph Smith with Mormonism.
Joseph Smith had an idea. Dum 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 dum.
And they murdered him.
I think his wife did that actually, but
Well, to be granted, a lot of the Mormon fundamentalist communities are home to the bad P words and
yep.
It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
bastion of child abuse.
And Jason reminded me of this one that Roger claimed that the large spot the large spot on Jupiter was actually the birth canal that Venus came out of.
Oh, okay.
Say that again, please.
The large spot on Jupiter was actually Jupiter's birth canal where it gave birth to Venus.
Okay, well.
Okay, now to be fair, this is not his original theory. That there was somebody back in the 1800s who...
There's two people who think that way? Oh my God.
There was somebody in the 1800s who hypothesized that Venus was spit out of Jupiter.
And it was based on the equivalent of ancient alien theory, where the mythologies of the Greek or Roman gods was actually like somehow representative of the history of the solar system.
Roger did go out of his way to make the giant red spot of Jupiter look like a vulva.
Yeah.
I mean, he went out of his way to make that happen. It's just, Roger, for Christ's sake.
Well, he and that's what sounds like a grifter, because he knows throwing in the sex stuff is going to get more clicks.
Roger. Something else. I've misplaced my turkey feather, or I'd get it out and start waving it around.
Now, see, See, what I think is that when Jupiter gets hungry, it swallows another planet and digests its atmosphere and spits out the rocky core. So everybody on
that
Earth should
explains
be
it.
Well-
deadly worried about the next time Jupiter wakes up hungry, it's going to eat the Earth.
See,
So that space between Mars and Jupiter that everybody says those asteroids is really just his outhouse.
It's where it poops out the planets after it's done.
Damn.
well, there's dispute between Roger's theory and the ancient Greek story of where Aphrodite came from. Right, Aphrodite in the ancient Greek story, according to Hesiod, was we have to go back to Gaia. Gaia was the first goddess, right, or the first thing, and she gave birth to Titan, or rather, I'm sorry, gave birth to Uranus, and Uranus and Gaia had some kids, and the kids got the eldest kid got decided that Uranus was an overbearing parent, so cut off Uranus's junk and threw it in the ocean, and out of the sea foam that was created by doing so, sprang Aphrodite.
Oh God!
There you go.
Well, that's why she's the cum goddess.
If she was throwing his reproductive parts into the ocean, and you're talking about the sea foam, I'm never going near the sea foam again.
See,
I don't want to
what it shows is that even gods can be trans.
Yeah, well, you know.
Oh yeah,
I like to remind Titan Uranus of that story all the time because it makes me laugh.
Wait, if the sea foam is God spunk, what does that make? What does that say about the Little Mermaid?
Well, I don't know. Ask Hans
But
Christian
did
Andersen.
you know, according to Man de Grace, mermaids are technologically advanced and part of the kingdom of darkness?
Oh yeah.
Are all deities murderous, incestuous, cannibalistic bastards? Well,
Not all of them.
No, not all of them.
Zeus did eat several of his own children.
Bacchus wasn't.
Yep.
Bacchus was too busy being passed out.
Kronos was the one who really did a lot of the child eating.
Yeah, Kronos ate the kids, and then Zeus
Krampus.
Zeus fed him a rock, and he puked all the gods up. That's another one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had that story wrong. Yeah.
Which one gave babies adrenochrome?
No, the version I heard of it is that Zeus cut him open.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
Adrenochrome is just oxidized adrenaline.
Hey, but it's got a commodity market. And that's what Democrats do is they go to Ukraine and they harvest babies and turn them into adrenochrome to sell to their rich buddies in America and around the world so that they can stay young forever.
I thought it was a pizza
That's just a
topping.
variation of the blood libel bullshit that Hitler was spreading, and that was spread through the Middle Ages by anti-Semites and people who wanted to just blame other people for bullshit rather than deal with their own problems.
It was also a good way to for the government to rationalize why they were taking over the economy of everything that was successful. Why they had to nationalize all the banks and such.
It's all because we don't have enough safety pins.
Severe safety pin shortage.
Majestic's got a point. Yahweh killed himself and expects us to eat his corpse and drink his blood.
Okay, Perp, I've really got to stop you from spouting this foolishness. I just sent you a informational poster on MidAmerica, and you could share that with the audience and read it yourself, and maybe you'll come to understand this whole thing a little bit better. Come on.
This is Jenny going, get with the program.
Oh God. Are you sure this isn't gonna get the stream taken down?
Well, yeah.
There's nothing obscene about that.
No, not obscene, but it has implications. Oh, wrong button.
As long as you present it correctly, it should be just fine. It's all for humor's sake. YouTube, it's just a joke.
Yeah, bots don't tend to get jokes. Where's the last button? Okay.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Fetal tissue and baby body parts is big business in Ukraine.
Where the
Pharmaceuticals and
hell
vaccines,
did that
cosmetics and
come from?
anti-aging,
The
medical research
pits of
and
the
testing.
Kremlin.
Oh, no. That's just... Jesus.
It probably came from Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Well, and it has prices.
I know, but it's...
Those prices are fine. Match limbs are important.
I'd say get
Ukraine
that
is the location of the first
terrible
fetal stem cell treatment, the first center for using fetal stem cells for therapeutic purposes, world's first ever fully licensed fetal stem cell bank, and the world's largest stem cell therapy clinic. Yeah, I'm sure that if you tried to Google any of those, you would find that that Ukraine is not the biggest place for those. But
well, actually, if anybody's not in the know in the chat, this standard lie has been going around for generations. The object country will change. Sometimes it's America, sometimes it's Mexico, sometimes it's Colombia, Venezuela. Another number of things depending on what is happening in the world at the time. And this is what they say, is that such and such country is kidnapping babies, and blah blah blah, and that's why they should be your enemy and all this kind of stuff. And this is first time I've seen an illustration of it. It's pretty disgusting.
It is.
It's called blood
disgusting.
libel.
Yep.
And it's older than the hills.
Yep. And MTG is promoting that kind of bullshit.
Yes, she is.
Yes, she is.
Not that specific one, but that kind of bullshit.
I think she did say something about a conspiracy involving them, using fetal tissue to, avoid aging.
AR, even if that was true, who cares? Because stem cells are not taken every day from something. You need like a pinch full of them to start with, and then you make your own from there on.
It's kind of like Mary Poppins,
Well,
a spoonful of stem cells makes the medicine go down.
Come here, I want
most
to take
of the time
of your tissue.
Yeah, most of the time when they want stem cells for something, it has nothing to do with fetal tissue. They usually take them from bone marrow
and the placenta. And we all know that the placenta is disposed of or eaten by some other group of weird people.
Yeah, I had heard about that. Some parents who eat the placenta themselves for some spiritual reasons I never understood.
That's gross.
Yes, it is. Animals do it.
Yeah, actually, it's pretty common for animals to do it, just because the mother basically is so exhausted from birthing the baby and all that she's just looking for any immediate nourishment, and that's what's right there.
Jinzu, once she's convicted of that, yes.
Yeah. Well, at least she didn't throw it in the ocean, so there's that.
Well, not only that, but can't Hunter Biden sue her for showing his nudes without him signing a consent form?
Yes.
Isn't that what Pornhub keeps getting in trouble for?
I'm pretty sure.
He may do that at some point, but I think he's having a lot of fun right now showing America what bullshit artists they are. Why? How was it that all of that died out so quickly?
And when this goddamn Trump fever finally, one of the reasons why the Trump fever keeps on going is because these people are afraid of the living down what they wrought.
Yep.
Congress Hub.
Congress Hub, where they shoot everything on C Street.
Well, there's 435 members of Congress? That would be a hell of a gangbang.
Believe it or not, there's this guy, he's dead now, but his name was Doug Coe. And there's a video of him from the late 1980s talking about how the Christians need to be as radical as the fucking Red Guard and Nazis. And he was named one of the most 25 influential evangelicals back in 2025. And he started YWAM used to own C Street. YWAM is connected to the Seven Mountains assholes. And they used to own C Street, and they didn't wind up paying taxes on C Street after the ownership was transferred, was used for basically inviting all the congressmen to have fucking orgies.
Is there such thing as a non-fucking orgy?
I don't think so.
I think it's possible to have a non-fucking orgy.
I suppose it could be, if you restrict it to oral sex only.
There are many forms. Many forms. I think that, just, I don't know. I don't know.
And all those shitheads can have beliefs which are about the end times, which owe more to theosophy than they do to the actual Bible. It's just, this is such a complicated subject, and it's like every time I start researching it, it sets off my post-traumatic stress disorder. Because these people are so evil, so hateful. No, I mean the relationships between all these people.
Oh, yeah. That's where they're basically.
It's just like a tangled mess of evil. Yes.
Yeah, the Southern Baptist Convention evangelicals are just the minor league team for the Dominionists.
See, I think the problem with these folks is that they really missed out on the actual 70s, like Studio 54 and Plato's Retreat and all of that stuff. They've got this imaginary idea as to what all of that was like.
Well, why not? They've got an imaginary idea what the
Yeah.
50s were like, but they want to go back
Yeah,
to.
yeah, exactly. So
Okay, SJ was talking about eclipses and red cows. Does anyone know anything about
Oh,
that? I
fuck,
have
the
not
red
heard about the red
heifer.
cows.
Don't know about that one.
The red heifer is basically something that you basically need to sacrifice it and use its ashes as a purification ritual for the priests to be able to start their duty in the fucking temple. And it's just a load of there are very few Jews that actually want to go back to the animal sacrifices.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, well, maybe not the Jews, but I think some of the fundamentalist Christians think they want to go back to the biblical times.
Oh, fuck,
At
it
least
was
then they had
horrible.
God's blessing to own people.
It was the Bronze Age, and you died at the age of 35.
Yeah. Yeah, if you made it to 40, you were considered an elder.
that's why I go with Majestic Pete Beck. That's why I go with the Hebrew National hot dogs. You know, the answer to a higher power.
I actually like those hot dogs.
They're good hot dogs. Yeah.
And you know what you're getting roughly. At least you know they lost their official endorsement from the Orthodox Union because it's like they were basically using on occasion things which were not kosher, but most of the time. So I'm forgetting what they have a K mark on it, but it's not the same as the Orthodox.
It's not the U.
Yeah, well, I remember when I lived by Chicago that especially during Passover, you'd see everything, even the Coke bottle caps had the CRC symbol on them, the the Chicago Rabbinical Council, to indicate to people what was kosher. Okay, Ember's saying red heifer is a prophecy requirement for the third temple. Little do they realize the third temple is already built. We call it the Dome of the Rock.
No, they want to kick over the Dome of the Rock and start World War III.
Doesn't the Dome of the Rock have a actual built over the place where
Yeah, it's where Muhammad supposedly
leap?
ascended to heaven.
Yeah. And there's a footprint.
And it's supposed to be where the Akeda happened too.
Is there any reason in particular why we're polluting the airwaves and our friends and our own minds with religious crap right now?
I don't know.
Not really, but that's just what we wandered onto.
Well, someone mentioned the eclipse and then something to do with the red cow.
Yeah, that Marjorie Taylor
the red heifer
made a
thing.
connection between the red cows and the eclipse, and I didn't know what that was about, so I was asking.
I've never seen a purple cow. I never hope to see one. But I will tell you anyhow, I'd rather see than be one.
But if I had to be a cow, I would rather be a purple one. Because then I would go on tour doing shows instead of going to the rendering plant.
Exactly.
Very fair.
Your life expectancy is greatly extended if you're a freak.
And you have a safety pin.
Yeah, my brother's first wife was Jewish, and she didn't keep to it all year round, but for Passover, she wanted to have the whole house kosher for Passover, which was a massive cleaning effort.
Yes.
But because of that, my brother and I started making pizzas on the giant matzah crackers.
That would be interesting.
They were pretty good, actually.
Yeah, so let's see. Taco John's just came out with a real taco pizza. It's pizza shape, pizza size, and it's got taco stuff on the top. Lettuce all the way, the whole thing.
I'm not a big fan of Papa John's.
I want to try one of them. Now, did I say Papa John's? I'm sorry, I meant Taco John's.
Oh, okay. We don't have one of those around here. We've got a Papa John's.
I've
Yeah,
never
Papa
heard of
John's
Taco
isn't.
John's.
Yeah. Papa John's isn't really great. There's a couple of stores. Actually, the Aldi's take and bake pizzas are pretty good.
Yeah, and the guy who started the Papa John's thing is kind of an asshole.
He's the ultra libertarian asshole.
Yeah.
He's one of those sport killers.
I still like that when they wanted to open up in Minnesota, there was already an independent pizza joint called Papa John's, which was not far from where I lived by Como Park. So they had to buy the name from them. And the original place is still there, called John's Pizza Unlimited now. And the family has never revealed what the settlement was, except to say that they're only continuing to run the pizzeria because they're enjoying themselves doing that.
Good for them.
Oh, I would have gotten them for tens of millions.
Yeah, I expect that they got quite a sum of money for that.
There's a restaurant right next to the Small World in Disney World in Florida. It used to be called Geppetto's. And then Disney tried to sue the gay bar that had been open since before the 20th century started, and Disney lost. So they had to change the name.
Which part of the bird are libertarians? I think I missed something here.
Oh, God.
Okay, so is it kosher to eat a rabbi? Or is it one of those that it
No.
could be depending on how you bleed it out first?
Eating human flesh is never kosher.
Oh, bull.
That's why when I said that flat earthers were Soylent Green and you asked whether it was kosher, and I said it was only kosher for penguins to eat flat earthers. For people to eat flat earthers, it's cannibalism. And I know all of these dietary laws were made up years and years ago.
Hey, I'm clear. I'm a sentient dinosaur, and there are very few dinosaurs left on this planet. So
you're clear. That's part of psychology.
You have to also allow. I helped raise 9 kids, so I am now a transparent. A nod from Stephanie. That's all I get for that joke? Okay.
Well, you got a chuckle too, but you didn't hear it because I was muted.
Okay. Libertarians are right-wing people pretending to be left-wing.
The old joke was libertarians are Republicans that like to smoke dope.
Libertarians are Republicans without those nasty morals.
What it assumes facts, not in evidence, right there. I mean,
That's why it's funny.
Okay, let's see here. Foods to avoid to be kosher. Produce containing meat from pigs, rabbits, squirrels, camels, kangaroos, and horses are not suitable. See, humans are not on that list.
It's considered not allowed to eat human flesh.
That sounds pretty definitive. I think that they are allowed, but they're just covering that up because they want to cover it up.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to be any part of any religion that tells me I can't eat bacon and shrimp.
Now, let me tell you a tale.
I'm not
So
gonna be part
there
of
was
any
a
religion that
tombstone.
prohibits me from eating Bob and Steve.
There was a tombstone unveiling that I went to. And then everyone went to the Golden Corral after, and everyone in the party was Jewish. And out of 14 people, only 2 people did not eat the pig. So, to give you an idea exactly how kosher a lot of Jews keep, I was one of the people who didn't eat the pig, and one of my friends was, but everyone else ate the pigs.
Yeah, well, I grew up in a community that was like 85% Jewish, and there did not seem to be, any problem with the bacon sales going there.
I lived in a primarily Jewish neighborhood, and the richest guy there owned the store down the street called Nothing But Pigs. So,
Although,
when pigs fly.
just pigs.
we were members of the Catholic Church, and there were many Sundays that on the way home, we stopped off at the Jewish deli to get lox and bagels for brunch.
I love lox. You get some lox, you get some cream cheese, you get some bagels, you get some onions, and you make the most awesome breakfast sandwich.
But, lox are kind of like lobster. That if you open them up, the tumblers are good, but the shaft is really hard to eat. I'm just bombing today.
I know.
Cheese is kosher, burgers are kosher, but together, nope. Yeah, I think that's from the warning about, not cooking a goat in its own mother's milk, that you can't have meat and dairy together just in case.
Wait.
Even if it's milk from a completely
get a handle on
different
this.
species.
I got to get a handle on this scenario. So you got this mother goat, okay, and she's pregnant, and you got to milk her, get all that milk out of her, and the baby goat be born and all that stuff, and then you kill her. Jeez, that is really cold.
No, you don't kill the mother, you kill the baby.
Well, that's not very nice either.
Yeah,
That sounds
actually,
like something Trump would do.
I think that may have more come not from exactly killing the baby, but at that time, how many of them were non-viable when they were born?
Oh, well, then they just kill the mother. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I got it now.
I also think that's why lamb is traditional for Easter, because it's at the time of year that a lot of lambs were being born, and how many of them didn't make it. So you might as well. But yeah, not
Lamb
being
is
able to eat meat and
also,
cheese together would also be a deal breaker for me.
and once again, most Jews will happily eat a cheeseburger.
Yep.
At least in America. Jews in Israel, it's like, I can't say that it's a monolith, but there's some major differences in attitudes all over between American Jews and Israeli Jews. Even about Trump. American Jews hate Trump's guts.
And how about the South African Jews?
I don't know enough about Jews from South Africa.
Oh yeah, their genetics go
But
back.
like,
Their genetics go back just as far as your Ashkenazi. In fact, they're related, except they're all black.
Yeah, well, there was also a point where they claimed that Ethiopians were one of the lost tribes.
No, they've done genetic testing, and it matches all these tales and stories and history that these people have about themselves. So there's no doubt.
There were Jewish communities that when missionaries went to China, they were surprised to find Jews. Now, I was talking with someone and I was saying this and he was getting upset. And then this was like one of the what would you refer to those as? Like they say that all black people are Jews and all white Jews are imposters. And this guy had to call up the person who was brainwashing him with hate because I was describing how these people from China and India all had recognition by the Israeli state, and then Operation David, I think that was in like the 80s or 90s, where they rescued a lot of Ethiopian Jews from being murdered. But we're getting off topic.
Yeah, I bet you they didn't have safety pins.
Yep. Yeah, bring it back around for us, Jenny.
Yeah, need safety pins.
Now, see, kids these days have never had the experience of being stabbed by their own parents trying to change a diaper. Yep. Like I said, I know I've got some probably in my sewing box, but oh yeah, brag about it, huh? I hope you brought enough for the entire class. Oh.
Thinking about steak and burgers and all of that is making me want to go to Outback.
Baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back.
All of this talk is just making me hungry.
Yeah, all this talk is making me remember that I haven't eaten since I got up, so.
And you wonder why I had my ramen noodles before the show.
Yeah.
I'm hungry
Outback,
too.
the food is pretty good, but I can't go in there. The atmosphere is just way too loud.
Well, usually when I go to Outback, I go early in the morning or early in the afternoon rather than like when everyone else shows up. So it doesn't get busy till like 4 o'clock.
Yeah. Outbacks are still around. We don't have one here. We've got Texas Steakhouse. That was Jenny doing the chili song.
Oh, is that the chili song? Oh wow.
Yep.
I don't go to these kind of places at all, so. And that's not judgment. I don't have any money. I can't go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my limitation as well.
Yeah, and Amber, what did your grandma say? That the safety pins were to protect her, not you?
The bloomin' onion, yes.
Outback steaks are too small. Yeah. They weren't great servings.
Remember Ponderosa Steakhouse? And
We
the
had the
50 cent
last.
dog meat. It was pretty good, actually.
Yeah. Oh, well, we've been going almost 2 hours, so won't we do the wrap up here? We'll be past the 2-hour mark then.
It's amazing how we can pull so much crap out of nothing, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, when you've got safety pins, you can do a lot.
Oh, baby, can you?
Yeah.
And just look at the safety pin. And imagine designing some machine that can fold the metal like that time and time and time again, and you'll realize what a modern marvel it is.
Well, I thought they used to be built by hand. That there was a little guy with a punch and a hammer and ting, 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 ting.
They used to, but then it was automated.
Yeah. Well, they started making them in the 1830s. So at that point, they probably were hand bent.
Yeah, that was just only the very earliest days of destroying the planet.
When is National Clothespin Day?
I'd
You'd
have
think
to
it'd
look that one up, but I'll bet they have one.
You'd think it'd be
I hope
tomorrow.
so.
Mage, can you look that up? You're the best at it.
Bring it up now.
Yeah, you are. You're really fucking smart, and that means that
Oh,
allows you to do it so well.
March is National Clothespin Month. They get a whole
Oh
month
shit!
Oh.
Wow.
The whole month? We're
Yep.
late.
Missed it.
Well, maybe next Wednesday we could do a national Clothespin Day retrospective.
Yep.
It's on the laundry list. Sorry.
Clothespin Day is every other Friday at the Kink Club. Yeah, that fits.
Ember, you mean I'm not the only one?
Okay, nowadays, 3,333 billion units per second. I'm assuming that's the machine manufactured safety pins.
Wow. There's that much demand. Holy shit.
There are some real amazing machines that do stuff automated. It's just,
Yeah.
I really get off on the ones that wind springs and make little set length metal rods and levers and that kind of stuff. Have you ever seen a machine make a chain? It's amazing. They do it one link at a time. Everyone is welded.
No, I haven't seen the chain.
Just a lot faster than a people can.
Yeah, I do like watching some of those how it's made videos.
They never took one thing that I asked them to do. Molybdenum disilicate heating elements. They never showed how those were made.
Oh, that actually would be interesting.
Are those like the elements they use for electric stoves?
No, they're the only heating elements that can go up to 1800 degrees C in air. Because while they have a high concentration of molybdenum, but they have silicon in it. So the silicon oxidizes and creates a thin layer of glass. And I built a heat treat furnace for gemstones back when I was in Virginia and I owned a home and I had a machine shop in the garage, and I always wanted to know how they made it, because like each heating element was $250 a pop,
Wow.
and those were for small heating elements. And
Yeah.
whenever
How
you
big?
have silicon,
What surface area for something like that?
the actual heating element itself, the diameter was about of the heating element was about 0.22 inches, basically 6 millimeters by maybe about 4 inches long. The area that I was heating to those high temperatures was only about 4 by 4 by 4 inches. And I did get the heat treatment furnace to work, and then 2 weeks later the house burned down. Unrelated, the house had aluminum wires. But if I
Oh,
had
man.
actually gotten that, well, to give you an idea, I bought rough for like, you could take rough sapphires that cost virtually nothing, few cents a carat, and make some rough that would cost $4 a carat. And you could take rough that costs about $10 a carat and basically create rough that sells for a few $100s a carat and cut. And it was just that the house burned down before I had the money printing.
So just cooking them under very high heat was increasing their grade.
Jason,
And well,
I'm sorry.
the sapphire, when you get it up to about 1800 degrees C, it turns to jello, and it heals all the cracks. And you know, like you have star sapphires, that's because there's Rudel crystals in it. It dissolves the Rudel crystals and integrates them into the matrix. And then if you bring it down to about 2700 degrees slowly, and then from 2700 to about 1800 degrees Fahrenheit, you need to get that down within a few minutes so that the Rudel crystals don't precipitate out. And by controlling the oxygen, you can take very dark sapphires, and by having a wee little bit of oxygen, you can lighten them tremendously, because about at 2600 degrees Fahrenheit, the sapphire becomes permeable to gas. So the oxygen gets in there and changes the oxidation states of the various elements that give it the blue color, thereby lightening it. And by controlling the amount of oxygen, you can control how light the sapphires are. And put the molybdenum disilicate heating elements, as they get hotter, the resistance drops. So you need ever more and more current to get it ever slightly hotter. It's like an inverse exponential curve.
Mm-hmm. I never would have imagined that you could melt them like that.
You need zirconium insulation bricks. Not zirconium, zircon or zirconium oxide.
Yeah.
Space shuttle tiles.
Space shuttle tiles would actually melt in that furnace after a while.
Well, they go up to 5,000 or something like that, don't they? Even higher?
That's because the heat doesn't transfer all the way through. It doesn't have time. If you're leaving if the furnace on for a day or two, it would have enough time to transfer through the material and melt it.
Yeah, the space shuttle tiles are designed to dissipate the heat as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's how you can put one on your hand and hit the other side with a torch.
But if it's an environment where it's above the melting point for long enough, it will melt. Because
We had
the
another
space shuttle tiles are silica.
we had another material that was really cool back in the shop days. It was a piece of scrap. It was a scrap piece of rubber that we got from the local rubber casting and gasket making company. And it had just come out in the last couple of years before that, and I cannot remember the name of it. I really wish I did, but it was kind of like a jellied foam rubber. Okay, it was certainly denser than foam rubber, and it would hold its shape and it just felt like jelly. I mean, like a pasty jelly. And it was of such construction that you can take
Come on, Sammy.
a piece, two pieces, excuse me, an inch and a half thick. Put your hand down on one of them, then put the other one over your hand and hit it with a hammer as hard as you want, and you don't feel a thing.
Come on.
It's amazing.
Maybe it was some kind of variation of butyl rubber. Because butyl rubber is used in for dampening.
What?
Well, I never checked the heat sensitivity of it though, so I don't know anything about that. But it was amazing. How can a material do that? You know, it's just, and I'm talking. I used like a 3-pound Compothane hammer. You know, whap, and it just bounces off. You know, it's like holy shit. I don't think you should ever do it without one underneath too. I never tested that as a possibility. I just didn't think it was a good idea. And we did start out with smaller hammers. Let's see how far we can take this. And I just couldn't go any higher. I mean, you can feel the compression. But if you ever hit your hand with a hammer, you know, naked, it's
Oh, yeah, done
nothing
that.
at all like that. And yeah, and when you're hammering with a chisel, don't ever say don't hit your hand in your head, because you will.
So somebody hammering with remember, don't hit your hand. Whatever you do, do not hit your hand.
You really can't do that to people. It's uncanny.
Let that be a reminder to everyone watching on YouTube. Remember to do the bad carpenter and hit a thumb. YouTube doesn't care which one. Either one counts as engagement.
Ooh, boy, that
There
was a slick move to that. Very good.
I say that in every chat I go into, though.
Smash the like button.
Yeah, do that. It was the first stream as the DSA. I was obsessively watching the YouTube studios, and within the span of 10 minutes, there was a concerted effort where, even though we had picked up like 10 subscribers, the stream had a 50% like rate within 10 minutes. So about 7-8 people at the time, basically within 10 minutes, came from a server and just shit bombed the entire channel, and like they had malice, and every goddamn video was hit with 7 or 8 thumbs down. And it actually screwed up the number of views I was getting on some of the videos that get perennial views. And so like button is better than the
Oh, so it does matter. Now,
I see
Mark
it.
Caesar
And
saying that YouTube is hiding the like button.
I see it. I don't know what's going on.
Well, it doesn't say like anymore. It shows a thumbs up next to it, a thumbs down.
Yeah, you have the channel name, and you have this you're subscribed, and next to it you have the thumbs up or a thumbs down thing, and then next to that is share and save. Unless you're on like a phone, then that might be something different. But
That's what I was describing, of course.
Okay.
Hey,
All right,
when
that's
are we
us.
going to get? When are we going to get to buy super chats for you?
Well, doesn't that require that I'd have to be monetized first, or
I don't.
Yes.
no? I'll have to see. Is that one of the things that comes in when you've got 1,000 subscribers?
It's 500, I think.
it
Now.
can be early as 500.
Okay. Well, we're a little past 600 now, so
You need 3,000 watch hours.
okay. That's
Yep.
the thing that's holding us back. Since we went to only doing this once a week, we're not. Obviously we're having half as much watch time as we used to have. So yeah, we're only getting around 1,600 watch hours a
Yeah.
week.
I only watch about half of it.
I'm not sure if I want to monetize my channel.
Yeah.
If I get up to the thing.
The DSA is at about 1,500 watch hours already and getting more. We're getting about 160 watch hours a month.
I'm pretty sure that nearly all of our streams would be demonetized if I tried to monetize the channel. You know, for
You can
showing
still get
for
super
showing things
chats.
like the prices for baby parts.
Well, yeah, that might be a little bit dicey, really.
Well, while we were doing the stream, I reserved my seat for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Cool.
Oh, you're not paying attention to your job, huh?
I'm just wondering if you're gonna have a cameo of the squirrel from Ice Age running through the background chasing the acorn.
I love that squirrel.
Scratch. Or Scrap? Is it Scrap or Scratch?
Yeah, it's Scrap.
Scrap. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Jason's saying if you play the video at slow speed, it helps the watch time.
Really? No idea.
Well, yeah, but it takes that much more time to watch it.
Okay, well, let's see. You know, if people want to help out, if while you're doing something else on your computer, if you could just, put our stream in the background running, you can have it muted, but have it running just so we get credit for extra watch time. Let's see if we can up it that way.
But,
or put it on to run while you're asleep.
But my battery.
Well, you can get arrested for battery, so you shouldn't be doing that.
Is Spiffing Brit on YouTube, Jason?
Okay, Ember says that stream monetization is still at 1K subs. So we still need to get more.
We need 400?
Yep. Which at the rate it took me to get up to 600, we should have in another 6 years.
Yeah.
Sure.
I put up to maybe 10 years. YouTube seems to be wanting to screw over any independent content creators these days.
Well, that's why I couldn't even keep it above 500 for the longest time. Because it's like every time I would get an extra half dozen subs, YouTube would do something and then 10 of them would disappear.
And apparently, it is particularly bad this year too.
Yeah, I've seen some of the Spiffing Brits videos. That's all of his videos are, how to exploit things in games, and he's got some on there about how to game the YouTube channels, how to game the YouTube logarithm so you can get more views and more watch time.
But don't they bust you if that if you do that?
It depends how you do it.
Yeah.
If you produce content, like, take the DSA for example, I'm getting about 4,000 views a month. Even though, like, maybe 700, if you're lucky, might actually be the streams. And that might be a possibility if we did 2 streams a week, but I'm getting like 300 or 400 with the streams. Playlists like the Ukraine, the kind of musical with the some of the like FDR in the background, that winds up in people's playlists, and
Yeah.
they leave their playlist up, and then it creates it's just like more people are watching that whether they want to or not, because it winds up in their playlist. And
Well,
if
when we were
people
doing
have a session, YouTube judges videos not only on watch time, but what do people do after? Do they stay engaged with your channel? Is it associated with their videos? That's what it's doing. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. You hadn't finished. I was cutting in. When we were doing 2 streams a week, even when we had a bit of a smaller audience, we were getting up around 4,000 watch hours. So if everybody was up to doing 2 streams a week, we probably could get past 3,000. I had
Are
been
they,
thinking of it of starting a late night stream again.
are they cumulative?
Well,
Like,
you're not getting 4,000 hours a week.
No.
Getting 4,000 hours in a year, yeah.
Yeah.
okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, but that's I was getting well past the 3,000 hour mark when we were doing 2 streams a week.
There's a lot of people who are making big money, as in it's their full-time job to do streams on TikTok.
Yep.
And the criteria to get into it is not very high, and so there's lots of people doing it, but only a certain number of them are really interested enough to even think about watching more than once a day. The problem is I won't recommend it to anybody because TikTok is so absolutely fucked in the head with how it censors and how it does with all that stuff. It's basically you get one chance depending on the offense, and the offenses can be really stupid. They are really stupid things, like you're not allowed to say suicide. You can say unalive or dissolved, but you can't say suicide. And you can't even say die. They don't like that word either. And of course they don't like, fuck and shit and all that kind of stuff too. But there's no official list. You can't go anywhere and find which words are the bad words. And so you end up getting canceled while you're learning.
If you're playing Dungeons and Dragons and you're throwing a single D20, you can't call that a die.
So I guess the tie-dyeing video is out.
Yep. Well, no, tie-dyeing is spelled with a Y, so that would be different. But you have a pair of dice or you have a single die.
Yeah, but it's a matter of what you say. So it's gonna
Oh
pick
yeah,
up.
that's true. If
What
it's
about if you're talking
voice
about tool
recognition.
and die work?
Yep.
I
Nope.
was
Nope.
just
You
about to
can't.
say.
Yeah, you can't demonstrate a tap and die. That would get you
Tool and
kicked off.
die.
What if you're just quoting the slogan of the state of New Hampshire: "Live free or die"?
Yeah.
That's patriotic. What the hell? Pissed off.
Mark has a point that if we did more of showing floofs, that would help. Okay, yeah, I should try that. I should set up my camera watching Sammy sleep on the tower there.
Yeah.
Let's see if that helps us.
Sammy Cam.
Yep.
There you go.
You know, I would absolutely love to get one of those little helmet cams and put it on Ethan when he's running around. I know he would never tolerate me putting it on him, but I would love to see that. Put it on a cat when he's got the zoomies.
If you don't like and subscribe, Molly will be sad.
Yep. Yeah, you don't want a sad puppy. Look, Molly is so sad because, if we don't get enough watch hours, she doesn't get as many treats. You have to get our channel monetized so that Mage can afford to buy more chew toys for Molly.
There you go. Absolutely.
Purple, can I show off that 3D model I made?
Oh, sure.
All right, let me go into pull it up.
Yeah, just share your screen and we'll bring it up.
Excuse me.
Hey, Vonrek. How are you doing? We don't see you around often. Yeah, I think that YouTube is sensitive about that G word there. Probably better for me not to say it. We have Mage here. And in the side chat, I see Pragmatic. Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes. I love it.
That's great.
So not sure
There
where
you
Jenny is
go.
yet, but we have Mage
good.
here. And in the side chat, I see Pragmatic Crystal and Demon Orb. And somebody new that I don't recognize. Which I'm not even sure if I... Excellent.
Maybe just clip
That's
out that
very
first
good.
part of the intro and we can use that.
I can send the file.
Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong... Yeah, we could use that, up to where it's giving the disclaimer about strong language and adult themes.
Yeah.
I did
like it.
send you the file over Discord.
Okay.
And I'm going to make a looping render like this, and if you have OBS, you can download the advanced screen switcher and then some Python code.
Yeah.
And
one, you're way
if you
beyond
do
me.
that.
One, you're way beyond me, and two, for some reason, my YouTube channel just will not work with OBS. It refuses to pass the stream key to anything else.
It's
I
cool.
think that's some bug that got in there by the fact that YouTube deleted my channel twice before I uploaded my first video.
Why
But
the fuck
this
did
has
they do
followed you
that?
through 2 different computers. How can that be?
What
Maybe try a clean
didn't you-
OBS install.
Didn't you have an earlier computer that it did also was on that did the same thing?
Yeah, but it's not on my computer. It's something in the YouTube channel. But yeah, that's you know, of course.
Ember, Jesus.
You know, of course, YouTube never gave me a reason they deleted my channel.
Oh,
And
geez, that's disgusting.
Ember just destroyed me, you bitch. Jesus Christ. Oh no.
But you know the sad thing, Ember, it probably does exist.
Seriously. My word.
okay, I did suggest maybe wrapping this up a half hour ago.
Well, you know.
How come our pictures are so tiny?
How come what's so tiny?
Our pictures. The screen.
I don't know.
Hmm?
Don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's just a different framing sizes.
I see.
Yeah.
Using the other one, people don't get so covered up when I try to highlight a chat thing.
And this one allows the overlay not to cover everybody up. And they have more people in here.
Yeah, well, mostly, you know, I do it for this so that when I highlight something from the chat, it doesn't completely cover the people on the bottom row.
And if you do it regular,
And I can put a background behind the model so that it's not just like a black background. So give me an idea what background you want and I'll re-render it.
Oh, I don't know. Do you have a pine forest handy? That would be fine.
All right.
A prehistoric forest. Some pterodactyls flying around in the rear. And...
No, the pterodactyls didn't do well in the hypersleep, so they didn't make it.
You're lying.
No, see, you got to remember the reason I'm here is because 66.2 million years ago, aliens took dinosaurs to a wildlife preserve on another planet. See, and those are the ones I'm descended from.
When? 66.6 million?
66.2 million years ago.
Oh.
So, you know, and they had them on a wildlife preserve on another planet. We don't know what happened to that alien race. You know, they just kind of disappeared. They didn't come back for millions of years. So the dinosaurs were left to evolve by themselves. And that's, you know, where I came from, that I'm descended from the dinosaurs that were left to evolve for, you know, 60 plus million years.
Wow.
See, it all makes
you're
perfect
responsible
sense.
for Dinosaur Adventureland then. Damn it.
There's an upcoming protest. I think
I say we take off and nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Yeah.
Actually, we don't have to nuke it. You know, we just have to like drop some rods from orbit so it looks like an act of God. And then we can tell everybody that, you know, Hovind just really pissed off God.
And I'm going to clip that audio for later. For Project Odin.
Okay. No, they will be the rods of God.
Jason,
That's a biblical verse. The Jesse's rod or something. I think there's something in there about Jesse's rod.
I've read a couple of military leaning columns and stuff like that, scientific junk, and apparently that, and I don't know if they actually tested them. I believe they did, though. They called them the something from Thor, rods from Thor, something like that. Basically, they take a big chunk of aluminum about the size of a phone pole, and they drop it down out of shallow orbit onto the target they want, and they're completely silent because they're just this solid aluminum thing coming down. And when it hits the ground, they hit with the force of nuclear weapons.
Yep. That's what I was alluding to, that I read a thing about them.
Tungsten? Okay.
Yeah, about them, building this as a weapon back in the 1960s. That they could just put a satellite in orbit full of these rods. And then if the Russians did anything we didn't like, they could just drop the rods down on them and obliterate cities.
And then I heard that they discontinued them because something about the Geneva Convention, or maybe it was, or something having to do with the morality of them. And,
well,
which is just stupid. I mean, you compared to what, the atom bomb that nukes them and everybody else on Earth?
I think the UN got involved, and there was a treaty signed by the superpowers saying that they would not put any weapons in orbit.
No, this is way after that. Mass destruction is frowned upon. Yeah, too bad that's not true, hey?
It's only mass destruction if you hit a church while they've got service going. I should have wiped somebody out with all the bombs I'm logging here.
I think it also had more to do with the economics.
Yeah, tungsten rods that big. Those are, wow.
Yeah, when you consider the weight of the rods and how much it costs per gram to put something into orbit, that got pretty prohibitive.
Making an intro for that's going to have everyone who's in the deep state server who wants to be in it, a new one, more or less. I'm going to bring in the ships, and when the flat earthers are found to be using Russian weapons, we will nuke Moscow from orbit, but we're going to be making a new intro. At least I am, and I'm thinking of using AI to make a little sitcom where, is anyone familiar with the Fallout universe, right? Where the Enclave is basically the deep state of that era, and basically having a Poseidon oil rig, and then basically the deep state, all it does is basically fuck with rubes. And kind of combine that with kind of The Office, where you go on missions to basically leave someone's truck lights on so that they can't go to work, and then Donnie Douche blames the deep state.
Oh, and did you hear the real reason why the Baltimore Bridge collapsed?
It's something Biden did. I forgot.
No. Russia used their space lasers.
Oh,
Oh God.
oh yeah, that's why those lights on the boat were going off and on. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, well, Vonrek's got it about the rods from God weapon.
Yeah, I
That,
read.
that the main thing was they could achieve the force of a nuclear strike, but with none of the radioactive fallout. Which is what you really want, because then you wipe out the enemy, but the land is still usable. You can go right in and start farming the land again.
Because Moscow is such a perfect place to grow corn.
It is.
But I mean,
It's a
isn't the point
shithole.
of war generally to take the other guy's land away? Isn't that usually why people go to war?
I don't know why
usually
people
they go to
war.
war. Usually they go to war because the other people are worshiping a different god, but I think that's the most common cause.
Governments.
Well, actually, that's the most common justification, but usually it's, I want to take those other people's shit. But how do I justify that? Well, they're worshiping someone else's imaginary friend and they need to worship mine.
There was an island between Greenland and Canada that the Danes and the Canadians were at war over for years.
Yeah.
And they would get together and exchange strong drink. That seemed to be the extent of the hostilities over time.
Actually,
and I forget how long the war lasted, but I think they've come to a settlement.
I know what you're talking about, and from what I understood, what they would do is basically that one group would take a boat out there and they'd replace the other country's flag and they'd leave them a bottle of whiskey or something.
Or something stupid like that. I mean, that's the way. If you're going to have a war, that's the kind of war you want to have.
So each time the other side came back, they had something to get drunk as they replaced the flag again.
Yeah. I mean,
what were you saying,
let's
Jenny?
do wars like that instead of these other things where people actually get killed and whatnot.
Yep. Jenny, you were saying something?
No.
Sorry. Okay, Vonrek. Thanks for popping in, letting us know how you're doing.
Thanks for the info.
Rollerball.
I remember those. Those were like combination of they were like roller blades, but instead of the blades, it was two balls. And now I just said something that's going to cause someone to make a dirty joke.
Of course, yes. But it would be very painful to be roller skating on your balls. So.
Wouldn't they get twisted up?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, roller derby wants the state of New York to take action against Nassau County for not letting trans kids play in various sports leagues, which is kind of cool.
Well, let's see. They like to use drones and everything in wars nowadays. So how about we just switch over to that, and they can have robot wars.
Yeah, that would be better. It was one of my late fiance's ambitions that she wanted to get on the Syracuse roller derby team.
Roller derby's fun.
Well, and she was a big black woman. I mean, sweet as anything most of the time, but if she felt the need for it, she could become very intimidating in a second.
Probably the most inclusive sport in the world.
I know of it. I never got into it. I could.
Yeah, I've seen it on TV. I didn't really know what the rules were.
They still play it in some locations, although it's way different than it used to be. They're not on a rink or track or something. They're on just a flat basketball like floor, and so they don't get any of the cool speed and the cool dynamics of an inclined plane. So I think it's kind of boring.
Well, Ember is saying that Syracuse still has a team for it.
Good.
Bomb
Yeah,
out. Gee.
she did have ones that could knock a guy out.
I haven't been to a roller rink since 2007.
It's been ages since
I've never been to a roller rink.
I can't even remember last time I was at one.
Yeah, I can't remember last time I was at one, but in high school I did meet two of my girlfriends there.
There you go.
I couldn't really see roller skate, so I just played the arcade.
Yeah, I got decent with the roller skating, not to the level of doing tricks or anything, but
Yeah.
oh, web. Yeah, one of the girls I met there, everything was going great until there was some mention made about me going to church. And since I said church and not temple, her mother forbid her to ever see me again.
Oh dear. That's a shame.
Yeah. So yeah, just was not going to tolerate her dating outside of her faith.
I had that happen once too, except it didn't go through parents. It was just her.
Yep.
I could tell she was saying her parents' words, and it was so damn heartbreaking. You know, you
Yep.
think you got something going with them. Oh no, I'm sorry, you're the wrong religion.
Yep.
And this was after I left the church, and so it really pissed me off that, God damn it, you're ruining this, and there's no such thing as God. Don't you realize what you're doing?
Yeah.
Oh well, such is life.
Interesting footnote on that girl is in the Blues Brothers, when they're driving through Winnetka, they go right past her house.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah, so her house shows up in the background as they're driving.
Cool.
May have to give a screenshot of that. Show us sometime.
I'm pretty sure it's someone else's house now.
Yeah, well, the end of it when the Nazi guy flies off of the road and goes up in the air and then it comes down and crashes and dies. We assume he dies. We didn't actually see it on the film. But anyways, and that was filmed where I live.
Oh, did you know? Did you know the cop cars they destroyed in that movie were actually the new cop cars and not the old ones that they were supposed to get?
Oh no shit!
I heard something about that.
Oh God!
Yeah, the police department ordered a bunch of brand new cop cars, so they donated the old ones to the movie from the destroy. But there was apparently a mix-up, so they ended up destroying the new cop cars instead.
Oh fuck!
Cool.
That's a riot.
I'm sure the taxpayers were not happy about this.
Taxpayers wouldn't pay, the movie company would. Well, their insurance would.
Well, the movie company wouldn't be obligated to pay them if those were the cars that the police force delivered to them. So then it would fall back to the taxpayers to replace the old cars.
Yeah, maybe.
Yep.
It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
How
But
can they have made that mistake and we've never heard about it publicly?
I had heard about it before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although it would be something worth, going and verifying on Google to make sure it isn't just some urban legend, but okay, we're approaching the 3-hour mark, and I do need to wrap up because I need to go upstairs and help Soft Girl with some things.
All right.
All right.
Fine. Okay,
Mage, for the next show, you should see about getting a puppy cam ready, and I will see if I have a long enough cable to get my camera in front of the cat tower.
Should we no, see, now I forgot.
Well, then we probably shouldn't.
I guess. I thought I almost remembered. It came and ran past the door. I didn't get it.
Oh.
Oh, that happened twice now.
Jenny's passing thoughts have the zoomies. They just keep running through the room as a blur.
It was too funny to remember.
Well, I hope everybody has a good rest of their day.
I think I'll be all right as long as I don't go outside before the sun goes down. It's still just too fucking bright out there.
Have you ever heard of this invention they call sunglasses?
I have those.
Okay.
There are just some days that seem too bright even for those. So anyway, Commander, what have you got going on? You want to plug your channel?
Yep, I don't have my phone near me to get the link. The DSA after Purple's Autism Month stream, we're going to be making fun of Roger Mudfossil, working on a new intro for the channel, and then going to be coming up with some scripts for basically the DSA fucking with rubes and having the rubes blame the deep state for like not being able to get to work. We got a model of brainless steel, so that eye of his is going to hypnotize Donnie Douche into stealing documents from work that Donnie Douche wanted to steal anyway. And maybe we can make some fun shorts for the show itself. And I have I'm not sure whether I'm going to do this. I already have some episodes of Deep State News rendered. Unfortunately, they're also dated, but I wanted to get an idea from people whether or not they thought it was a good idea first.
Okay. Jason's got the link there for his Deep State Annex. I was just getting it, and as usual, somebody else beat me to it. Oh, Jenny, you have anything coming up?
Nope.
Any final words? Anyone you want to condemn to eternal damnation?
Oh, well, yes, of course, but nobody's willing to sit for that long of a list. I have Sunday on the Beck show, whatever time that starts again, 5 o'clock Central Time. No, Eastern. Eastern, is that Eastern? Yeah. No. Central, 5 o'clock Central. Sorry, 6 o'clock Eastern.
It was Mountain, but that's me. I don't know. I don't remember.
Nobody ever mentions Mountain. Nobody of any import lives there.
Well, Autistic Paige lives there.
Oh, all right. So there's one good person living there.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay, Steph, you have anything going on you want to talk about here?
Well, tomorrow I think the Transpositions is going to be back on the air. We'll see. I think Bree's back in circulation, so that we're hoping to get something going over there. And Ember and me and Carly Chardonnay Webb and Bree talking about news of the week in the transosphere or the world. A lot going on in the UK of late. None of it particularly good. Some good stuff, like I mentioned, the state of New York has permission to sue Nassau County because of their stupid ban on trans kids playing anywhere in the county. But stuff. There's that. That's tomorrow if it happens, it'll be tomorrow at 8 Eastern. And then I don't know. I might throw some stuff up on my channel sometime along the way. And who knows? Stuff. Skeptic Haven back here maybe next week. Who knows? It's getting busy though.
Okay, Mage.
Still gotta get that garden tour uploaded, edited, and all that. But other than that, not too much going on.
Oh, Jason's doing really nice for us with all of the links. So appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Like I say, I get them eventually, but I tend to be slow with them. But yeah, he's got the Deep Seek Annex, the Transposition. He's got Steph's own channel and Gardens Happen up there.
What's a Shappen? Garden Shappen?
Gardens shopping.
Garden
shopping.
That
sounds German.
That's when he's outside and he
Probably
has to sharpen his
like
tools. No, it's outside when he has to sharpen his tools so that he can garden.
No, I'd rather visualize a hole. Thanks.
Well, yep, I don't have anything going on except we'll be here next week. Saturday we are going to be doing another autism show. So this week I plan to talk about autistic masking and mostly how draining it can be to autistics to have to try and act normal in public. So let me grab the link for that one. There we go. Okay, that'll be Saturday starting at 5 o'clock. So after Granny wraps up, we'll have half an hour for everybody to do necessary things, and then we'll pick up from there.
Cool.
Are those planes ever going to land?
That's in the wrong chat.
I don't think so.
Ospreys. They don't land Ospreys because they're afraid they'll never fly again. Biggest piece of shit they've ever built.
Apparently you know more about them than I do, and I'd like to find out more. I mean, they look really cool.
Yeah, they crash a lot.
Yeah, that's not a good thing for a plane that's so often used in search and rescue, is it?
I don't think it's search and rescue. No, that's active military.
Okay, well, with that, we will bid you all good day, and we will catch you all next week or Saturday. So,
Have a
bye-bye
great
all.
day.
Later.